I'm sure you all have seen the madness on Twitter. Gojo has been trending for over 12 hours, and not only in the UK or America, but half of the world is trending with Gojo. He probably has more followers than Ronaldo himself, and he technically conquered half of the world already, something that has never been seen in the anime community. Gege decided to pull off his money-making move by dropping Gojo's ghost. On top of that, today is exactly 236 days after Gojo died. It's his death anniversary, and on top of that, yesterday was Buddha's birthday. Gege planned this like some scientist. In chapter 260, Yuji unleashed his OP move, Black Flash, which hit Sukuna like a freight train, ripping open his chest. Even though Yuji's hand has pierced his chest, Sukuna still gives no fucks and tries to expand his domain again. However, as Sukuna is doing the hand sign, he sees a ghost. After that, we see Gojo's face on the next panel. The narrator said it's the strongest ghost, and the phrase the strongest is only associated with Sukuna or Gojo. Many people still assume it's Yoromai, but Yoromai is not the strongest. So, it leaves us with two options: Gojo's ghost or Kashimo's. The reason why we say this is because the shadow looks more like Kashimo, and on top of that, Kashimo is the only dude that Sukuna buried. Gojo was not buried, so it makes sense that it may be Kashimo. We will stick to the theory that the ghost is Gojo for now. No selling false hopes. Now, I don't know about you, but when it comes to the malevolent kitchen crew, we have a love-hate relationship with Gege. The thing is, the guy has a history of trolling the fandom. We cannot fully trust Gege because the man is technically untrustable. So, if you're naive and fall for the trick, then you're just gonna suffer in next week's leaks. So instead of 100% falling for his childish tricks, we observed and analyzed past panels and came up with 3 things to expect for next week's chapters. One of them is going to become a reality for sure, but let's first check them out. So the first one is that Gojo's ghost is haunting Sukuna. Bear in mind that the narrator outrightly said it was a ghost, so technically Gojo ghost came back for revenge, but it's just a ghost, and like every other ghost, it cannot do anything. People expect Ghost Gojo to unleash his 200% hollow purple and kill Sukuna there and then. Please chill, my friend. There is nothing wrong with dreaming big, but that dream will most likely not happen. This is coming from someone who deeply respects Gojo. The thing is, Sukuna only saw the ghost after Yuji's claws stabbed his chest. It happened right after that. After Yuji hit him with a black flash and dug his nails into Sukuna started seeing stuff. And this can take us to an important point. Yuji may in fact be using some mind alteration stuff on Sukuna for the first time. Yuji may have caused Sukuna to have memories or see Gojo, and we know that Sukuna fears Gojo. He never said he fears Gojo, but can see through the way he speaks about Gojo that he does have some fear for him. Even his facial expression back in their fight says it all. Let's not underestimate behavior and actions. They speak louder than words. We know that during Yuji's memory alteration, the evil guys usually see their fears. Like Mahito, the dude was seeing snow and death. We know that Mahito was afraid of Yuji. The thing he saw in his memory alteration period was a bunch of rabbits, snow, and wolves. Nobody was seeing snow but Mahito himself. So this can be part of Yuji's memory alteration. Sukuna probably has a fear of ghosts and Gojo, so this can be a possibility. Not only the evil guys, but also the good guys have gone through memory alteration, and Todo is one of them. I'm sure you all have seen Todo's memory alteration, where he and Yuji were back in school with his girl crush. Yes, that wasn't real. It was Yuji's memory powers. Sukuna may be in a memory trance where he sees a Gojo ghost, but it's mentally, not physically happening. Everyone else cannot see it except from Sukuna. That's why Yuji did not see anything, only Sukuna. Sukuna was shocked seeing Gojo, his worst fear. That's why he brings up Gojo in every chapter up until this day. I can guarantee that Sukuna constantly thinks of Gojo because Gojo was the only guy who brought Sukuna close to death. No one else had the ability to bring Sukuna closer to death than Gojo. This is a possibility. The fact that he only saw it after getting hit by Yuji makes it possible that he is in Yuji's memory alteration. The second possible outcome is that Gojo is back in physical form, thanks to the binding vow. We say binding vow because rebirth means letting go of something. This means he returns as a new version of himself, which means he can no longer be the strongest. The strongest was his old self. The new self would have to be something else. We can expect Gojo's 6 eyes to disappear. This is a theory, but common sense as well. To be nerfed, he needs to have one of his eyes or even both removed. No 6 eyes mean no limitless as they work hand in hand. This route makes sense as he sacrifices something and comes back a new person and not the same as before. Let's not forget that the binding vow could also mean instead of 6 eyes, he loses his CT, the limitless. It can be either one. The binding vow makes absolute sense for Gojo. With RCT, Gojo won't be a new person. person. He would remain the same person we knew, which contradicts the idea of taking the North Plane. Since his brain is still intact, Gojo can heal himself with RCT, like what he has done with Toji. However, let's not forget that Shoko exists. Even though it is a theory, one thing we know is that this will ruin the whole storyline. Yuji's MC role will be a disaster. He will probably be turned back into his side character role, like in season 1 and 2. If Gojo makes a comeback via a binding vow, it's a game changer for the storyline. With Gojo back but missing his 6 eyes, he can still mentor Yuji in battles and maybe even help him unleash his domain expansion. Gojo's the domain expansion guru, so having him aid Yuji would be a major win for him. But with Gojo coming back through RCT, things would be insanely wild. With RCT, he still will have his full arsenal, and it seems like good news, but it's actually bad news for the storyline. With Gojo in the mix, curses would amp up like crazy, putting us right back at square one in Jujutsu Kaisen. Plus, Kenjaku's grand 1,000-year plan for a new world would just be a pipe dream, as it hinges on Gojo being out of the picture, either dead or sealed. Sukuna's whole scheme would crumble, and his Mahoraga era would have been a total waste of time. Poor Megumi went through hell becoming Sukuna's vessel just to take down Gojo, and now it feels like his whole arsenal got wrecked for no good reason. Kenjaku spent a millennium chasing his new world order tied to Tengen, all depending on Gojo's absence. And now that Gojo's back, Kenjaku's whole journey seems like a big joke. He might as well have kicked the bucket ages ago. The whole storyline will be a significant disaster. Of course, we all respect Gojo, and his comeback is something we all want, but when it comes to the storyline, we can say goodbye to leaks within a few months. No lie, but all the chaos we see right now is caused by Gojo's death. His comeback would mean the world would be back to peace, and nothing special like seeing Yuji with his domain expansion will happen. Yuji will obviously not need to suffer much with Gojo around, and no suffering for Yuji will mean his domain expansion won't be unleashed, because we learned that Yuji needs pain to grow. No pain, no gain when it comes to Yuji. Our boy would forever be a side character when in fact he was destined to be the main character. Gege might as well crown Gojo as the main character since he's hogged the spotlight for over 230 chapters. No shade is thrown at Gojo, but his return with those 6 eyes means Yuji won't get the chance to spread his wings and reach his full potential. Just laying down some truth bombs here, no hate intended. Let's not forget that Yuji unleashed his most powerful techniques right after Gojo was killed. So technically, Yuji will forever be mediocre if Gojo is around. Yuji might as well retire at age 15 and go back to school. The whole Culling game would have been unnecessary because the whole point of the Culling game was to kill everyone and begin the Tengen merger, which would lead Yuji to save the world, not for Gojo to come back and save the day. Again, this is only if Gojo comes back through RCT. If Gojo comes back reborn with no 6 eyes, expect him to be the best mentor for Yuji's domain expansion and help the others defeat Sukuna. He won't be participating in the Culling game, but will be there to help. But if he is back with his full arsenal, let's expect Yuji to become the side character and receive some crumbs. I don't know what Gege is planning, but we can't deny that Gege is the craziest writer out there. And one thing for sure is that the guy is trolling the fandom. Let's wait till next week to confirm, but please I beg, don't fall for it just yet.